Presented by Listen Headlines. Latest financial news from trusted sources.
BBC News Business. November 19, 1901 America, New York, Greensill. State Bank risked £335 million to back lender, say MPs. A government-backed bank did not scrutinize Greensill capital properly, MPs say. Finance and Economics. November 19, 1900 America, New York, Germany grapples with weird ways to dodge its debt break. The constitutional ceiling on borrowing is inspiring all sorts of wheezes. Finance and Economics. November 19, 1900 America, New York, the violence in Ethiopia imperils an impressive growth record. Of all the countries in Africa, it came closest to mimicking the Chinese model.
New York Times Business. November 19, 1900 America, New York, Ford and Rivian no longer plan to work jointly on electric vehicles. Ford remains an investor, but its own EV development plans have progressed since the partnership was announced.
Finance and Economics. November 19, 1900 America, New York, frequent flyer schemes provide airlines with a lifeline. Many carriers are using them as collateral. Finance and Economics. November 19, 1900 America, New York, as housing costs rocket, governments take aim at large investors. The approach is politically expedient, but it may not make housing cheaper. Finance and Economics. November 19, 1900 America, New York, the case of the curiously quiescent inflation rate. As consumer prices rise across much of the world, inflation in Japan stays stubbornly low.
New York Times Business. November 19, 1813 America, New York, Ken Griffin bested Constitution DAO in auction for Constitution. A group of cryptocurrency fans known as Constitution DAO had also bid on the document, setting off a frenzy of memes and pledges.
BBC News Business. November 19, 1737 America, New York, how pandemic burnout sparked a revival of a granny hobby. COVID pushed many of us to ditch screen time for hobbies. Knitting was among the most popular.
The Library of Economics and Liberty. November 19, 1731 America, New York, must these values conflict? Senator Mitt Romney, R. Utah, said he was struggling with conflicting sentiments. One is, I believe in the equality of women and I want to communicate that men and women are equal, Mr.
Wall Street Journal Markets. November 19, 1731 America, New York, Deutsche Bank names Alexander Wynaendts as next chairman. The former insurance company CEO will succeed Paul Achleitner when he retires in May 2022 after overseeing the bank for a decade.
New York Times Business. November 19, 1707 America, New York, 6 master sommeliers can be terminated after sexual harassment investigation. The American chapter of the Court of Master Sommeliers says it investigated 22 members. But at least one woman who came forward feels that's not enough. New York Times Business. November 19, 1701 America, New York, it really would help if people learned to email. You should never find out that you were someone's second choice. New York Times Business. November 19, 1649 America, New York, stock buybacks could be deterred by Biden tax. Supporters of the Biden buyback tax say it will be good for the economy. Skeptics say it will hurt investment. House Democrats celebrating around Speaker Nancy Pelosi after passing the Build Back Better Act, which includes a 1% tax on stock buybacks. New York Times Business. November 19, 1649 America, New York, CDC panel endorses COVID vaccine booster shots for all adults. As infections rise, Americans over 18 will be permitted to get extra doses. But it's not clear boosters really are needed by so many people, or that the shots will turn back the pandemic. A healthcare worker administered a booster shot last month at the Northway Mall parking lot in Anchorage, Alaska.
Forex Live. November 19, 1633 America, New York, Forex Live America FX News Wrap. More Fed officials tilt to the hawkish side. Forex new for North American traders on November 19, 2021 intro paragraph text here. Yesterday, Feds Williams, Evans and Bostic tilted more to the hawkish side of the ledger.
New York Times Business. November 19, 1630 America, New York, WNYC retracts 4 articles on its news site, Gothamist. In a new episode of Turmoil at the radio station, the author of the articles was reassigned, Jamie Floyd, a WNYC journalist, in 2015. She was moved out of her role as a senior editor of the station's Race and Justice Unit. New York Times Business. November 19. 1627 America, New York, Zia Chishti steps down as CEO of Affinity. Zia Chishti resigned from the artificial intelligence company he founded after a former employee accused him of sexual misconduct. Tatiana Spottiswoode, a former Affinity employee, testified before the House Judiciary Committee on Tuesday about being assaulted by the company's founder, Zia Chishti.
Forex Live. November 19. 1612 America, New York, Nasdaq index closes the week at a record. Trades to a record intraday high as well. Dow and S&P close lower. The U.S. major stock indices are closing with mixed results. Some highlights for the major indices. Losers today included.
New York Times Business. November 19. 1559 America, New York, Google questions if Jonathan Conter can be impartial. Jonathan Conter, who was confirmed by the Senate earlier this week as the Assistant Attorney General for Antitrust, has been a longtime behind-the-scenes player in building arguments against tech giants. Jonathan Conter joins other prominent critics of Silicon Valley in government roles.
Armstrong Economics. November 19. 1545 America, New York, Germany looking for full lockdown. Sources in Germany are all warning that the government intends to impose mandatory vaccines following the ruthless actions of Austria. The governor of Bavaria, Germany, Markus Söder, is also for mandatory vaccinations.
Daily FX Market News. November 19. 1530 America, New York, oil suffers worst decline since July with COVID, potential reserve releases weighing on sentiment. Oil prices continue to come under pressure as COVID lockdowns and potential strategic supply releases weigh on price.
Forex Live. November 19. 1508 America, New York, the major economic releases and events, November 22 to November 26. U.S. GDP, RBN zero rate decision. Of note is that the Pres. Biden has said that he will announce his decision for the Fed chairmanship before Thanksgiving. A time and date is yet to be determined.